think I have some of the wiring harness for under the dash not connected. I've been doing lots of work on the car. It should be ready to fire as soon as I figure out what my problem is. Engine should be ready. So, more updates soon. I think I got everything it needs to fire hooked up right now. I don't hear fuel pump, but it turns over. Takes a lot longer to actually get work done on the car if I'm filming it, so I didn't end up doing a whole lot of that over the past little while. Since the last update, we just put the motor in the car, and I've got quite a bit done since. After putting the motor in, we put the intake manifold on, got a setup with an air filter on it now. I'm pretty sure everything is plugged in how it should be. I ran the minimum wiring to get it started and running. As I mentioned in the last video, I ran the wiring through the firewall, got it all hooked up to the SI donor car's ECU, and this car used to be an automatic, so the wiring harness on the interior isn't fully the same. I got what I needed to get it to run. After crawling around underneath the dash, I ended up changing to manual pedals as well. So I now have a proper size brake pedal for a manual car. Should be a lot nicer to drive with than a chopped up auto pedal. One thing I did notice, I'm pretty sure it was because the SI used to have ABS, is the brake pedal switch being different on the new pedals. So that was another thing I had to change while I was in there. I got a new intake manifold gasket for when we put the intake manifold back on. I should have scraped off the old gasket while the motor was out of the car, but it is what it is. Got it done and it seems to be good. You don't hear any leaking from it, so I can't really complain. After the last video of putting the valve cover gaskets in, I just cleaned that up and continued to work around, pick at the little things. Made sure all the grounds were on the motor, the one on the trans and the one by the power steering pump. Also did end up putting power steering back on this car. I don't have a manual rack, so I'm not going to run a no power steering setup. In the future, I do plan to switch to a manual rack, but for the time being, I'll run power steering since the car is set up for it. With the Bull Boost engine mounts, I ended up having to sort of float the reservoir, not really be able to mount it how it should be, because the placement of the bracket is a little bit different and gets in the way of bolting down the power steering reservoir holder. I ended up putting a new power steering belt on it as I had one from buying this car. After getting all that sorted, moved on to working underneath the car a bit. Put the axles in, filled the transmission up. I'm using Royal Purple Synchromax. There's nowhere in town that sells Honda MTF. From what I read online, this stuff can be used, and if I'm noticing some slippage, I'll drain it and switch back to MTF and order some online. Inside the motor, I just got Castrol Synthetic 5W30. Changed the filter. I got a K&N on there now. I plan to get the car hot on the first race and just change the oil after that. I don't know what kind of life this motor had, but it's ugly underneath the valve cover, and I'm sure it is inside the motor. So I want to get a fluid flush in it as soon as I can. The original SI calipers, the piston is blown out on one of them, so I want to replace both calipers. I got Remand ones from Fat Guys Auto Parts, which I ended up having to return. The threads for the banjo bolts were not really there, and I don't have metric taps. I also don't like the idea of having to retap anything involving with the brakes, so I'm just going to switch and go to a OEM Plus or whatever manufacturer I could get locally to have a new manufactured part instead of a reman. When we moved the car into the shop this winter to put this motor back in it, ended up freezing one of the shifter linkages to the ground, and it broke the mount underneath the car. Instead of having to replace that, I went to a floor-mounted shifter from Bull Boost Performance, the same manufacturer I got the billet motor mounts from. This shifter also has a reverse and fifth gear lockout, so I shouldn't be doing any second to fifth by accident, which will be good. And I like the little bit of change in shifter position. It's definitely nicer. That is one complaint I've had about these cars and the EG is where the shifter is. I find it's too far forward. I do sit quite a bit further back. And I know Joel doesn't have that issue, but it's definitely an improvement for my driving. After installing the new shifter in it, I hooked it up to the trans. I was fighting with the nicknamed Honda bitch pin on the trans. After finally getting it, I was able to make sure the transmission is in neutral before starting it, since I still needed to wait for somebody to give me a hand to bleed the clutch. The original slave cylinder that came on this S40 was no good, so I ended up switching to the one that was on the other manual trans I have. The nuts on the inside of the frame have rotted off and snapped when I took the torque mounts off of this car. They did the same on the SI. So I'm going to end up tacking the new ones on and welding them while I have it in the shop to put the roll cage in. For now, I'm hoping that the stiffer engine mounts will soak up some of the extra vibration and prevent the engine from twisting around as much. I still got to fully mount the rad and bleed the coolant. As of right now, I got an aluminum rad that I had laying around, put in the car. It's the same size as the OEM ones, just a little bit different. I'm hoping that it'll run good, since the other rad I have is out of Joel's car and it does leak a bit, so I didn't want to run that one. I'm still waiting for a seat bracket from Garage 16. I ordered it the day before this is being recorded, so hopefully I'll have it here by the end of the week or beginning of next week. Regardless, I could drive the car out of here without a seat in it. That doesn't bother me. Plus, when the cage goes in, I don't want to burn this seat, so I will be pulling it out anyways. I would have floor mounted the seat like I did in the BMW, but I don't want to chop out the seat rails, as I want to put sliders in this car so Joel could drive it. So if I mount it for me, he can't reach the pedals or see over the steering wheel. The car is at a standstill until I get the new calipers in, but when I do put it back on the ground, I will not be on the Steelies anymore. My tires came in a few weeks ago and I got them mounted and balanced at the shop in Thunder Bay. Speaking of Blizzaks, I did pick up another set of those today. Not for a Honda, but for something else that the channel will be seeing soon. It is a car with a bit of a story now, and I want to do a once over on it, a short video before I go drifting with it. Because I sold the E46 and I don't want to sit out for this year. These here are the tires I'm going to be running and the wheels that I'm running. So finally going to be off the Steelies. I'm going to try to get Joel to buy a set of aftermarket wheels of any kind, just because I think they look cooler. Everybody thinks they look cooler than the Steelies. But these will be going on the car soon. This is why I needed the lug nuts that I ordered and showed you in a few videos ago. Before I tell you what kind of car the Blizzaks are going on, I'm just going to show you the wheel. And if you could figure it out from this, then props to you. These are an older set of Blizzaks. They are a WS50. So they're a bit older, but I paid $250 for them, so can't really go wrong. A lot better than the tires I currently got on that car. Okay, so I was having problems with the fuel pump not priming, and I think I found the broken ground. I made a half-assed one for now, so let's see. Oh, it's in gear. My bad. I don't have a clutch right now.